Pokemon. It's a game where you walk around, catch Pokemon, and use said catch Pokemon to battle other Pokemon and knock the oranges out of it. The studio behind making such a ridiculous concept is known as Game Freak Incorporated. These folks have designed 33 Pokemon handheld role-playing games, and their latest games, Pokemon Sword and Shield, are a piece of trash. In this video, I'm going to compare Pokemon Sword to Pokemon Crystal, one of Game Freak's earlier pieces, in terms of game progression and Pokemon battles. There will also be a third mystery game used as reference, and it's quite possibly the best Pokemon game ever. Alright, a majority of the gameplay in Crystal and Sword are battles. Pokemon is a turn-based combat system where you and your opponent throw out your first Pokemon from a party of 6 or less. Each Pokemon has 6 stats: hit points, also known as HP, attack, defense, speed, special defense, and special attack. In battle, there are also 2 additional stats: evasiveness and accuracy, both of which have implications on whether a Pokemon's move will hit its target or not. They are 2 sides of the same coin and are factored into the Pokemon moves themselves, as percentages ranging from 30% to infinite percent. The Pokemon with the higher speed stat will attack first, then the opposing Pokemon will make its move. This cycle is then repeated until a Pokemon team has all its members' HP reach 0. All Pokemon have 3 kinds of moves: physical, special, and status. Physical and special moves are attacks that reduce the opponent's HP but do different amounts of damage depending on each of the Pokemon's base stats. If a Pokemon has a low defense stat, then it's vulnerable to physical attacks. If a Pokemon has a high special defense stat, then it's resistant to special attacks. So, just because your Pokemon has a high special attack stat doesn't mean it will do a lot of damage. It depends on the relationship between both Pokemon stats and some other factors. You want your Pokemon to have moves that match up with their stats. There's no reason for a Pokemon with a low special attack stat to know special moves, unless it's part of some crazy strategy. Moving along, status moves have 4 kinds of effects: status ailments, temporary ailments, terrain changes, and stat changes. Status ailments to your Pokemon include having them sleep, burned, poisoned, paralyzed, or frozen like a popsicle. Temporary ailments include the following: confusion, infatuation, curse, leech seed, fire spin, and many others. Status and temporary ailments all have different effects on your Pokemon and pretty much screw you or your opponent over. Terrain changes affect the field by modifying the weather or placing objects on the ground. These can either hurt your Pokemon's HP and/or boost their moves. The last group, stat changes, have huge implications on your Pokemon's moves. Remember the original 6 base stats and 2 in-battle stats? At the beginning of each battle, 7 of those 8 stats are in a neutral stage, 0, as illustrated in this diagram. Status moves like Growl can reduce the opposing Pokemon's attack by 1 stage, leaving it at -1. This means the opposing Pokemon's physical attacks won't do so much damage next turn. You can also use a move like Hone Claws to improve your own Pokemon's attack and accuracy by 1 stage, allowing it to do more damage with their physical attacks. If the opposing Pokemon has improved its evasiveness, or if your Pokemon has its accuracy reduced, then there's a chance that your moves will not connect. If both cases are true, good luck. The cap for maximizing or reducing stat stages is at 6. You can always switch out your Pokemon, and the new Pokemon that enters will have its stat stages at 0. When the original retreated Pokemon returns in the same battle, all its stat stages are reset back to 0. There are also Pokemon abilities. These provide unique effects in battle, such as Torrent giving a boost to water type moves when your Pokemon is low on HP. All Pokemon have different types, and their attack and special moves also have types. All types have advantages and disadvantages against others. For example, water beats fire, fire beats grass, and grass drinks water, and so on. Water type moves do double damage to fire Pokemon, and water Pokemon receive half damage from fire moves. In some cases, there's no effect at all. The Pokemon's move will receive an extra boost in power if the Pokemon and Pokemon move are of the same type. There is a formula that the game uses to calculate the damage from Pokemon moves, but I'm not even going to pretend to sound like I know it. There are resources in the description that explain that and other features of the Pokemon games. From game to game, Game Freak implemented new game mechanics to change up how Pokemon battles played out. Both Crystal and Sword follow most of these game conventions but have some differences. Crystal does not have Pokemon use inherent abilities, as that was a feature added in the 3rd generation games. Pokemon Sword introduced Dynamaxing, allowing your Pokemon to inflate themselves and take part in the annual downtown Thanksgiving parade. Oh my god, it's a giant Pikachu! B. Dynamax upscales a Pokemon's HP, powers up attack moves, gives attack moves infinite accuracy, and changes the status moves to an evade move. The Dynamax level determines how much a Pokemon's HP is upscaled. There is also Gigantamax, which is another form of Dynamax. Gigantamax Pokemon have unique moves called G-moves that cause status ailments, temporary ailments, stat changes, or other effects. Both Crystal and Sword have similar stories which act as the framework for your Pokemon battles. Crystal is situated in a region called Johto, which is adjacent to Kanto, and Sword takes place in the Galar region. In both games, you play as a kid who becomes a Pokemon trainer and travels to different towns in search of Pokemon gyms. Each one has a gym leader which you must defeat to earn their badge. Earn all 8 badges and you could go against the Elite Four in Crystal, or participate in the Winden tournament in Sword. Defeating these professional Pokemon trainers lets you challenge the current reigning Pokemon champion. At the beginning of each game, you start with one Pokemon and catch more as you progress through the world. All your Pokemon have levels which determine their base stat value and what moves they know. To rise in level, a Pokemon needs to gain experience, and how that experience is obtained is different in Crystal and Sword. Both games have wild Pokemon that you can catch or defeat. They also have Pokemon trainers that you battle with in between the gyms you encounter. In Crystal, one Pokemon gains experience for each Pokemon that's helped defeat. In Sword, all 6 of your Pokemon gain experience for defeating or catching a Pokemon. This difference in experience distribution has implications on game progression, and a lot of people on the internet say that this makes Sword's gameplay way too easy, but that's not the case. Here's the data showing how long it took me to become the Pokemon champion in Crystal and Sword. It also shows how many trainer battles I had and the gym badges I earned at 3-hour intervals. Now here's a graph that shows the same data visually. Crystal had a mountain of monotonous battles compared to Sword because of Crystal's lousy experience distribution. Playing Sword, I didn't have to go through so many battles and my Pokemon felt like they were zooming on by. Here's data showing what my Pokemon's team average level was at 3-hour intervals. It also shows the level of my highest level Pokemon. At first glance, it might seem like Sword has my Pokemon grow faster, but if you look at this graph that plots the average team level, you'll find that the rate of growth is actually the same. Both lines have relatively the same slope. The difference is, Sword had my Pokemon get to a higher level by the 3rd hour. What does all this data mean? In Sword, Game Freak successfully maintained the same level growth rate while greatly reducing the number of battles the player had to go through. This is a good thing because I didn't get exhausted having to go through the tedious exercise of swapping out my lower level Pokemon in battle just so that they could get experience, or having to go battle after battle after battle just to get my Pokemon to a high enough level to have a winning chance at the next gym. Also in Sword, my Pokemon had relatively the same level to those of the gym leaders, so Sword's experience distribution doesn't overpower the player's Pokemon. If Sword did a decent job of having good game progression, why do I still consider it a piece of trash? Because Sword's gym leader battles were just as much a throwaway as the trainer battles that led up to them. Yes, Crystal had way too many trainer battles and made gameplay feel like a chore. But the gym leader battles were designed well and posed an actual challenge. However, the 3rd mystery game I mentioned earlier has an even better battle design than Crystal. A lot of people are thinking, it's gotta be Emerald with its Battle Frontier post-game challenge, or the classic remaster of Heart Gold and Soul Silver. No, the 3rd mystery game that has the best Pokemon battles is Pokemon Stadium 2, for the N64. Pokemon Stadium 2 was developed by HAL Laboratory Incorporated and Nintendo's Entertainment Analysis and Development Division. It had mini-games, a classroom that taught you all the stupid rules of Pokemon battles, and the Pokemon battles themselves. There were 3 modes of battles: Free Battle, where you could go against the computer or your friend, Stadium, where you battled trainers to win a Trophy Cup, and the Gym Leader Castle. In Pokemon Stadium 2, there was no walking around and no catching, just battling. The game had all 251 Pokemon to create a team of 6, all at the same level and each having 4 fixed preset moves. Some Pokemon couldn't be used based on the restrictions to each battle mode. To earn a badge, you have to beat trainers and the gym leader consecutively with the same 6 Pokemon you select when you challenge the gym. Stadium mode is tougher because you have to beat 8 trainers consecutively to win the Trophy Cup. Pokemon Stadium 2 has a different battle format than Crystal and Sword. At the beginning of each battle, the game would take you to a screen that showed both Pokemon parties. Next, you would select only 3 Pokemon for the battle, and this added a lot of tension because you didn't know what the other was gonna choose. I don't know why, but the computer would always magically select the 3 Pokemon that were best suited to beat my 3. I don't know, maybe it's just bad luck. Another difference is how you switch your Pokemon during battle. The handheld games let you switch out your Pokemon before the opponents send out their next Pokemon. This is called Shift Style and gives you the advantage of switching to another Pokemon that has a type advantage against the new incoming Pokemon. Pokemon Stadium 2 doesn't give you that option at all and requires you to spend a turn if you want to switch out a Pokemon. This is known as Set Style. As you progress through the Gym Leader Castle, you'll encounter Team Rocket. Wait, stop the music. Not this Team Rocket. This Team Rocket. These rockets are the real deal and were designed to stop you in your literal tracks. These 4 battles are the cornerstone of what Pokemon battles should be. Each member has a unique strategy, with the next battle being harder than the last. The first grunt has his Pokemon kamikaze themselves. The next has their Pokemon drain your Pokemon's HP with their poison moves, all while evading your attacks using Protect. How do you even get 2 successful Protects in a row? That's not even possible! The following Rocket Executive uses strong moves, and the last one is the toughest one of all. Alright, Firo, use Drill Peck!
There's the shot! Bam! That worked perfectly!
Ha! Sunny day? Well good, that'll do you.
The sunlight has turned harsh! Ow! Drill Peck! That's it! Ow! Knockout!
Alright, who's next? A Houndoom? Watch out everybody, we got a Houndoom here. Wait. That Victory Bell Sunny Day wasn't used to give my Pokemon sunny beach weather. It was used to power up Houndoom's flamethrower. Well, the exec doesn't know that I have Sandslash, who knows Earthquake, which is one of the most powerful Pokemon moves and is super effective against fire types. Go Sandslash! Earthquake this fool! Solar Beam? Wait, no! And a critical? But Solar Beam takes 1 turn to power up and the next to fire. Wait. Not only did Victory Bell Sunny Day power up Flamethrower, it also powered up Solar Beam by removing its 1 turn charge. My last hope. Kadabra, go! Bend your spoon! may have the qualities to become an executive. Man, screw corporate! This is where Pokemon battles are at their strongest. Using different moves to create combination attacks and taking your opponent by surprise. That's what makes Pokemon battling fun. Not only are the gym battles designed well, so are all the battles in Stadium mode. That's the great thing about Pokemon Stadium 2. All the battles are meaningful, thoughtful, and none of them are taken for granted. It can be frustrating because it seems the computer's cheating half the time, but I think the battle design is the closest as to what Pokemon battles are at their core. This diagram encapsulates the 4-team Rocket battles and the overall spirit of Pokemon battles. Pokemon Stadium 2's idea of difficulty is overcoming an opponent who has an airtight strategy by coming up with one of your own. Crystal and Sword have different design strategies to pose a challenge to the player. Crystal's difficulty comes from the idea of using all of your Pokemon's different moves to overcome a big threat. Anytime you face off against the gym leader, your Pokemon's levels are relatively close to most of the leader's Pokemon, except for their signature Pokemon. Not only are their signature Pokemon high in level, they also use a unique strategy, like Morty's Hypnosis Dream Eater combo, Whitney's high defense stat and HP rollout combo, and Claire's No Heaven Elemental Weakness Perfect Pokemon Smokescreen combo. The most surprising gym battle was with Jasmine's 2 Magnemites and 1 Tough Steelix. Her Steelix, which is 12 levels higher than most of my Pokemon, is a prime example of using your team to defeat a big threat. None of my Pokemon can beat her Steelix alone because it can one-shot them with an Iron Tail, so I have to use my team's moves to weaken its stats first, and then go in with the finishing move. Jasmine's Steelix was intentionally given a high level so that it would have high base stat values to power its moves and raise its resilience. You could tell a gym's signature Pokemon was given a higher level on purpose because the wild Pokemon and trainer's Pokemon you face afterwards have similar levels to your Pokemon again. To recap, this diagram shows Pokemon Stadium's 2 battle design and this one shows Crystal's. Now here's Swords. The reason it's blank is because there is none. There is no difficulty in Sword. Why do I say that? Because in Sword, I never lost a battle on my way to becoming the Galar champion. Whereas in Crystal, I lost 10 times before becoming the Johto champion, 9 times to the Elite Four, and once to... oh no, not again! Ah! I guess the lesson here is, you can't beat corporate, no matter what. I lost too many times to count in Pokemon Stadium 2, so I'm not even gonna bother. At least Pokemon Stadium 2 and Crystal whooped you and emphasized it's important to strategize and try new combos. All Sword emphasized was that tight matchups were the most important thing. It does so right in the beginning of the game and then reminds you later at different points. Check out this one battle where I literally had 1 Pokemon against 3. The Rudolon, use Reflect! Damn it! Alright Grimmsnarl, use Bulk Up! Damn it! My only choice is to Dynamax Gyarados. Use Max Quick! Again! Oh no! Now I'm done for. He's Gigantamaxing his Charizard. One regular Pokemon against a Gigantamax Pokemon? I lost this for sure. There's no way I'm gonna win this. Why would he use Max Guard? He's Gigantamaxed. He should be able to one-shot me no problem. The weather's no longer on my side, so now Charizard can definitely take me out. What the hell? Why did my waterfall do so much damage? Alright Gyarados, just finish it. Dynamax didn't turn the tide of battle for me, and it didn't even secure victory for my opponent. It was the fact that my Gyarados was a water flying type and knew powerful moves like Earthquake and Waterfall. Power moves and type matchups are what's important in Sword, and it doesn't take much strategy to win. The Dynamax mechanic pretty much disregarded everything Game Freak had built up before. There is no reason to use stat changes like Sand Attack or Double Team because Dynamax Pokemon moves have infinite accuracy. Some might say that this game mechanic fits fine into Pokemon's current battle design. I say it doesn't because Pokemon battles take a long time, and there's no need to invest 2 or 3 turns using stat changers if their effects won't help you out in battle. Add Dynamax, type matchups, power moves, and shift style all together, and you get one-dimensional gameplay. Sword's gym leaders all had signature Pokemon, like those of Crystal, but had no tight strategy or obstacle to overcome. Just because your Pokemon is huge and looks menacing, doesn't mean it actually is. Crystal and Pokemon Stadium 2 put you in situations where your initial strategy didn't work, so you had to go back and try something new. Sword doesn't have good battle design, and it never forced a player to come up with another solution. There is a counter argument here, and that is Sword is designed well and does pose a challenge to its players through its online battles. Sword lets you connect to the internet and challenge other players with Pokemon Stadium's 2 format, choosing 6 Pokemon and sending out 3. I admit battling real people online is fun and challenging because they all use unique strategies to whip my butt. Seriously, I still haven't won a single online match to this day. However, that's because other people are providing the challenge. Why didn't Game Freak design their gym leader and Winden tournament battles to be fun and challenging? And that's why I consider Sword to be a bad game. Because Game Freak provided the framework to make good battles, but it didn't provide the design to see it through. Game Freak probably wanted to have Sword's main campaign be easy so that new players could learn the rules. This way, online battles would be the place where players hone their skills and develop new strategies. I consider that to be pretty lazy, because a good game introduces its game mechanics at the beginning. Then you use the same mechanics to overcome obstacles designed by the developers. As the game progresses, the difficulty is ramped up and the player has to improve their skills in order to progress. Sword could have done this with their gym leader and Winden battles, but chose not to put any effort in designing them. Because why would they? For goodness sakes, this is Pokemon! Can you really call yourself a true Pokemon fan if you don't have all the games? They know their audience, and they know they don't have to try anymore. Game Freak may not care about making good games, but there are other studios that do. I really appreciate the studios who designed and developed Pokemon Snap and Pokken Tournament. They're not RPGs, but they have great concepts. Their game mechanics are satisfying, which makes them fun to play, and they provide a challenge in their own unique way. Actually, come to think of it, there was a studio that made home console Pokemon RPGs. Shout out to Genius Sonority for making Pokemon Colosseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. Both had interesting stories and decent Pokemon battles. The endgame in both Colosseum and XD was so damn cool and memorable. Genius Sonority also made Pokemon Battle Revolution, which I never played, but the battle animation looks great. One last thing to note, Sword's presentation is abysmal. I recommend watching videos on Sword's animation from a channel called Distant Kingdom, as they are accurate and hilarious. Link in the description. I look forward to playing Pokemon games developed by other studios. Game Freak, you've dropped the Pokeball for the last time. And yes, I know there's this guy, Worster, who beat the entirety of Pokemon Crystal and became the true Pokemon champion within 3 hours, throwing my video out the window.